There's only one way to bench, bro. So, what we're going to talk about here is width of grip on a bench press, and basically what the reasons for doing a certain grip are. Now, we all know that generally speaking, you can alter your grip width, and obviously this depends on your goal. If you're looking to, target particular muscles, then obviously you're going to, change that grip to dominate to certain muscles. So we know that if you're looking to get more tricep dominance, then you're going to have more of a narrower grip and keep the elbows more tucked in. If you want to get more pec development, then you might go a little bit wider, of course. But obviously these things are dependent on activation of certain muscles and biasing towards certain muscles, not necessarily to do with what is the strongest position. So what happens if you're looking for absolute strength? Like, is there a way to actually tell how wide your grip should be as a guide? Obviously, again, everyone is different, so you have to take these things with a pinch of salt. But they did do some research on this, and they were looking at the width of grip, and they were working out based on the person's own anthropometrics, their own body positioning. So they were looking at the biacromium width, which basically the acromion process is on the tip of your shoulder here, the AC joint between the collarbone and the shoulder blade. So this is the acromion here and on the other side. So you've got a width here, which obviously they're using as a determining factor for the width with regards to the grip. And they were looking at different grip widths based on this in terms of how many times the grip should be. And they were looking at what was the best with regards strength output. So they looked at 95% of it, so slightly narrower than the actual biacromial width of the person. They also looked at 130% of that, so obviously greater than that. They looked at 165%, 200%, 235%, and 270%. So 270% is massively wide, and again, this might be good to recruit, say, pecs, but for absolute maximum load moving ability within the bench press, it's probably not going to be an optimal position. Likewise, on the other end of the spectrum, 95% is also going to be great for getting a bit more tricep work, not as much pec work, but again, it won't be optimal because you've not got a balance between the muscles working. We know it's going to be somewhere in the middle, don't we, really, in reality? So what did they actually find? Well, they actually found that 200% was actually the best position. So 200% is twice the biacromial width, basically. So obviously, if you think about this side, you look at that distance from the center to the acromion, and basically you will add on that again to the width. It was also not bad on 165%, so it shows you that if you were going to do it for absolute power output, you've probably got a tolerance between 165% of width and 200% of width. Obviously, this is going to be someone who's very pedantic and anal to actually work this out in an actual gym setting, but maybe you can do this first and measure it out and then work out where that is, have a little go, see how it feels, and then you'll get an eyeball read of where it is, and obviously you can see where the knurling on the bar is and try and work out where that is relative to that position. But it does make kind of sense really when you think about it in terms of 165, 200%, that's kind of in the mid zone there, so it does make sense. And it shows you, again, you're probably getting an optimum pec contraction, optimal anterior delt contraction, optimal tricep contraction, or at least all of them together bundled optimum for the actual power output, probably putting them into the best length tension ratios. Obviously, if you're going to go wider, you're going to put more stretch onto pecs and more stretch onto anterior delt. This is therefore going to create less ability to generate force because in the length and position we are weaker. So but it's interesting because a lot of people sort of just go with the flow, and there is actually some research and evidence to support an exacting measurement, if you like, to try and work out what to go for. Obviously you've got to go with your own feel, but it shows you as a rough guide, somewhere between them two percentages is definitely the place to make a start. And then you work out how you feel, how your shoulder feels, and also how strong you feel in that position. So it's worth a try. So anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time.